I just wanted to do a video tonight for anybody who has updates on Hurricane Helene. In Tampa right now, I guess there's major power outages. Let's see. Take a look. Yes, Stephanie, get up here. We need some updates on Hurricane Helene. I know it did say it was going to hit South Carolina too, but they're just going to get like rain, I guess. It's just going to rain. Hi, Leah. Yeah, so I told everybody that I was going to come on tonight. I want everybody who lives in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, New Orleans, Louisiana. That's probably where it's going to get hit the most. I did talk to Rita. Is in Florida. Rita needs I believe she's in Florida. She needs to get on here. I have family that's over in the Orlando area, and they told me that there's a lot of power outages, really windy, raining. I think you're right, Lou. So I put the link up if anybody wants to come up. I know Inflev said that he was going to come on, but I don't think the hurricane's going to hit South Carolina until probably like later tonight, early morning. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Rita's in Florida. Right now, I am making deliveries, but I did want to get updates on Hurricane Helene because they made a big deal about it. They said that it was going to be it was going to be brutal. And I do know people in Florida that still haven't recovered from the last major hurricane fully. It's a lot of work trying to recover from a hurricane. A lot of work, a lot of money. Let's see. Right. That's what I heard too. I heard it's going to be like majorly historic. Just I'm happy that I'm not down there right now. I was in Florida one time for a tropical storm, and I was on the coast right where it hit. But I tell you what, if you're on the beach, if you're in a hotel that's like right on the beach, nothing's really going to happen so much to you because like it's not like massive debris comes from the water. It's usually when you're inland and then the trees and everything else and the debris flying around from all of that. What, you wouldn't like? Wait a minute. You mean you wouldn't like all the hurricanes and tornadoes that they get there? Flooding. all the alligators and bugs. Where are you from, Leah? The pythons. Oh, you're in Nashville. Well, Helene's supposed to hit Nashville, I think, too. Tennessee. Do you have any like hurricane warnings or anything going on there? Yeah, it's brutal tonight, you guys. Let's see. It's been raining. Yeah, it's been raining here too for most of the week. Actually, I'm gonna do Grubhub tonight. Let's see what I can do with this. Really? You know what? Mark was supposed to do a karaoke night too, by the way. Have your neighbor cut it. Yes. And it only took 2 hours. Mm-hmm. 2 hours. It was like $100. Actually, what did I say? I think that was like $80 for the 2 hours. That Amazon run was actually ended up being decent with the whole thing. Yeah, ended up being good. The mileage wasn't that far. Usually when they send you like out to the rural areas is when you use up the most time just getting out there. Yeah. I'm just Yep. Get out there and mow the lawn. I don't know how big your yard is to mow the lawn. That's definitely something I would put on the. I don't know. I wouldn't probably do that. With Amazon runs, it goes with Amazon, it goes in blocks. So you can pick a 2 hour block, a 2.5 hour block, a 3 hour block, 3.5, or a 4 hour block. And then you get paid accordingly to however long you want to stay out there for. Obviously there's less packages the last time, that you sign up for, but You know what you're going to get in advance, and you pick it up at a certain time and just go for it. Yeah. If you don't mind driving, it's it's really easy. Not too many, there's a couple dogs here and there you'll run into and everything else, but generally speaking, it's it's worth it. It's too wet to mow right now. How is it? Yeah, I mean, you don't really have to, you don't, like, you work when you want to, and, you have to pay for your own gas and everything. But I'm sure in Tennessee, they really don't have a lot of, they don't really have a ton of bad weather there. Like, I'm sure there's not massive snowstorms going on all the time. Probably don't get like tons of uh, bad weather. Yeah, I mean, I only ran into a couple scenarios with some dogs, but I didn't get attacked or anything. And the ones out in the rural areas, they're lovers and they just want to lick you. Oh, you get tornadoes? Hmm. Tornadoes are scary. I saw one tornado once. I was driving on the thruway and I was driving on the interstate. I think it may have been Interstate 95. I'm not sure, but I may have been by Arkansas. And I'm like, and I was like, those clouds don't look too promising there. And then I look over and I see a tornado and I'm like, yep, we got to go like 100 miles per hour or faster. Get me away from this thing. The further, the better. Do you guys have those basements? Like the cellar things with the big doors? Well, we hightailed it. We were going like 100, 110 to get as far away from that tornado as humanly possible. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool to have something like you could have like your own like little like she cave? My she cave's in my backyard. It's underground. We're gonna put tons of stuff down there and have fun. Here we just have normal basements. I know in Florida they don't have basements. Yeah, Stephanie has it made as far as like major deterrent weather. An earthquake every 20 years. I think I could deal with that. Yeah, I think I could deal with that. Well, in Seattle, though, Seattle just gets a lot of rain, right, Stephanie? I mean, I could deal with rain. It honestly wouldn't be so bad here if it didn't get massively cold and 50 less inches of snow a year. I think it would be tolerable. But when the wind chill's like negative in the negatives in the wintertime here, and you have to wear like 5 layers and 2 pairs of pants and boots with like 5 socks, 2 pairs of gloves. It gets crazy just to stay warm. That's That would be Hawaii, Leah. That would be Hawaii. Hawaii is about 70 degrees all year round. Last I knew about Tom, Tom was doing his own thing. Um, yeah, Hawaii is expensive. It's like Alaska. A lot of people hide out in Hawaii, though. You'd be surprised. All right, let's see. Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello.
So
How's
we're
it
having
going?
good. We're having Hurricane Helene updates tonight. Prayers to the people in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, where the majority of it's gonna hit. Hopefully, nothing too detrimental happens in those areas, and they have to send out emergency help, through the Red Cross or whatever.
Yeah, I've been watching it on TV. They showed Tampa. Tampa's streets have like 5 feet of water. They showed a stop sign sticking above the water.
Oh, it's wow. Okay. Well, I'm
Yeah,
definitely gonna have to call some friends and relatives that live in the area and make sure that
y- yeah,
they're
yeah.
decent.
So I'm sure people's houses are being flooded. I mean, 5 feet of water is a lot of water.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and one person died.
All right. Well,
What happened was uh, a sign. You know how they have those, signs on the poles when you're driving,
yeah.
and I guess the car went under the sign, and the wind blew the sign on top of the guy's car, and it killed him.
Ouch.
Hmm.
Yeah, you definitely have to be
Oh,
careful. The last time I saw any updates, they had a young girl out there reporting outside in Tampa. And it looked like it was raining pretty hard and steady. I'm hoping that, you know, obviously the least amount of damage is the best and everyone stays safe and gets through it. Because it can be, I mean, like I said, I've been in Florida when they had it wasn't even a hurricane, it was just a tropical storm. Well, I think they ended up upgrading it to like, what's the lowest hurricane uh, rating? Is it
well,
Hurricane one? I
yeah,
think like
this
five.
one's a 4. and the worst one is a 5. So a
Okay,
4
so
is
this would
pretty
be a
bad.
1. Yeah, I got upgraded to like a Hurricane 1, but um I was right on the beach and there was like no debris and my hotel room was pretty high up, and I mean there was a lot of debris everywhere the next morning, but it wasn't like, I don't think it's like how this one is. This one seems like
No,
really brutal.
no, this is a category 4, Michelle. That's almost the worst. A 5 is the worst. This is a 4, so it's bad.
Oh, people watchers in Tampa, it's been a wild weather day. People watcher, you should come up on the panel. We want to hear, like, are you okay? Is your house all right? Yeah, it's crazy. I couldn't imagine. You said 5 feet of water. That is
That's
freaking
what they said on TV. Yeah, and then they showed the stop sign sticking out of the water.
wow.
Yeah, on the roads. So
Let's see. A category. All right. Hmm. That's interesting. And so, people watchers in Tampa, it's been a wild weather day. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Like, I understand that you guys are a little bit more used to it than I am. There was another time I was in Florida visiting relatives, and they had like tornado warnings going on, and they lived like on the outskirts of Orlando, and I was freaking out because I've never had to deal with like tornado warning, whatever. I started hiding in their closet. They're like, it's not going to be that bad. It's not, like this. I'm like, yeah, but if a tornado pops up, and yeah, I like hid in the closet for hours because they don't, like I said, they don't have basements or anything, but it was wild. Some weather there is just crazy. And
huh.
at least with hurricanes, you know it's coming, you know when it's coming, and you kind of can prepare yourself. Now with tornadoes, they kind of just show up. They can kind of tell if one is going to show up in a certain area, but they're in the path of a tornado isn't like straight. They can't predict which way or another a tornado is going to go. It's just
Yeah,
weird.
that's like with earthquakes too. I've been in 3 earthquakes in my life
uh, i
here.
couldn't I couldn't imagine the feeling of like the ground, like, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's very scary.
I would run
Very scary.
outside. That's what I would do. That would be my first instinct. Like if everything was like shaking in the house, if you're in a house or whatever, I would just go outside and like go to like an empty parking lot or something, like try to get as far away from as anything that can fall over.
Yeah, but when you see the ground rolling, I mean,
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I've never experienced an earthquake. Well, I did, but it was so minor. Like it wasn't even, I don't know if you'd really even consider it an earthquake. There's been a couple earthquakes here, Stephanie, but nothing probably to what you experienced. It was like, oh, was that an
oh yeah,
earthquake?
no,
You know?
there you never forget those. The first one, I was a little girl in elementary school, and I still remember it. Back then they're so stupid. They had us go outside and lay on the ground, and I was so scared. I saw the ground moving, like rolling,
Oh
and
boy.
yeah, it was so terrifying. And then the second one, it was in the evening. I was working part time in this other grocery store, and all of a sudden the store started shaking. The lights went out, and we heard all the glass, all the wine bottles, and everything start shaking off the shelves and breaking. And it was Oh my God, it was so terrifying. And just as we were headed out the emergency exit, it stopped. And then when the generators came on, there was broken glass throughout the whole store. It was, yeah, it was something else.
Oh, no, thank you. Yeah.
And the third one, Sarah was a little girl. See, it's been 20 years since our earthquake because Sarah was 9 and she's 29 now. That's why I say we're due for another one. But I was watching her and we were at my apartment, and the earthquake started, and I just grabbed her and we stood in the doorway. They say to like get under a table or stand in the doorway where that's the strongest built. So I just grabbed her and held her and we stood in the doorway till it stopped. um yeah, so I'm waiting for the fourth one in my life to see what happens. But we're due for one, that's for sure.
That's crazy. Yeah,
I know.
we've had some serious like ice storms and snowstorms here that took out um everybody's power. I mean, the power outages were crazy. Normally, we're pretty prepared for power outages just because we're used to like the massive amounts of snow and everything, but there were a couple of major, like major. I mean, we always get snowstorms that can like easily put a foot of snow on the ground within a short period of time. But
Right.
some of these storms were ongoing for weeks, and people literally, you couldn't leave your house. It was like state of emergency. Everybody, unless if you absolutely emergency needed to leave the house, you could leave your house. And that's really rare here. So it has to be really bad for that to happen because there's so many snow plows, salt trucks to try to keep the roads clear. But it was crazy. And like everyone had to get their candles, generators out to try to save, you know, um, save some of their food, or you put your food outside in the snow to keep cold so you didn't lose all your food in the house. But usually they're pretty good at turning the power back on in a decent time when it goes off. But yeah, it gets crazy. Like if you're stupid, a lot of people do it too here because a lot of people are cocky, like you'll hear about a snowstorm coming and like, you're like, "Oh, I'm not going to travel today." We're supposed to get this amount of snow, but there's still tons of people who are like, "Yeah, I can drive through anything." And those are the people that end up getting stuck on the throughway. They have to, there was literally a pile up on the throughway of people stuck in their cars for like, it was like 24 hours. And like they were trying to send emergency people out there to give them like blankets, because your car can only run for so long with the heat. And then it was
Yeah.
so freezing out too. Like you couldn't be in those temperatures for that long. So that happened a couple times too. And that's the thing. It's like, um, because here they're like snow, freaking I eat snow for breakfast type of, mentality. Like if you live here and it snows, like your boss is gonna be like you just don't call, like they just don't expect you to call in. I mean, a lot of it's changed now because a lot of work can be done remotely, and they went that route. So I'm sure now it's easier to call in. Like if the roads aren't that great, you could probably just be like, "Look, I'm just gonna do my job on my computer at home," and it's not a big deal. But yeah, I've had to drive through some horrific conditions just to like work and this and that, because a lot of places they just don't accept like the roads are bad here.
Yeah.
And even with four-wheel drive, a lot of people have four-wheel drive vehicles out here. It's not gonna help you out if there's ice. And
Right.
most of the time, if it's been snowing a lot, it's also icy. Four-wheel drive does not help you anymore if you're driving on ice, folks. It doesn't. You slide just as much as if you didn't. What four-wheel drive helps you is if you have like just pure snowpack. You know what I mean? Like if it's the pure snowpack,
Right.
it's not iced over yet, then you can trench through, more inches of snow better than if you didn't have four-wheel drive. And
Right.
ground clearance.
We don't get a lot of snow. We get a lot of rain. So in the winter, when the temperatures get real cold, then all our streets are ice because from the rain, the roads being wet. So we deal a lot with ice in the winter,
All right.
without the snow, you know.
What would
So
Stephanie, what would you say is the best thing about living in Washington in Seattle?
well, our weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could never live, in those hot temperatures or those cold temperatures. Um, the cost of living here is awful. Um, but, it makes up for, we don't get those natural disasters here either. We don't have to worry about tornadoes and hurricanes. You know, we get, like I said, the earthquake every once in a while, and then rain in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in the past, I remember a couple bad snowstorms we had. I remember my parents were out of power for a week, and I had to take them down to my sisters who had power because, they were so cold. And then I remember one snowstorm when I was married, a bad one. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, the snow, it was up to our garage. I mean, it was unreal. But we don't see that here anymore. And I know that has to do with climate change. It's like our rain, we're not getting as much rain. We still get rain, but not like we used to. So something is changing. That's for sure.
That's crazy. I mean, our snowfall the past few years has been down, but I looked at our snowfall here for the past since they've been recording it in the early 1900s, and it's trended like that before. So there's been years where we've had like consecutively like not as much snowfall as other years. So I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this year with snowfall and if we're gonna get what we normally end up getting, because the past like 3 or 4 years it's been about 50 inches of snow when normally we average 100, and that's almost in half. That is in half.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're just I I wonder. I was gonna see if Infla was gonna come out. I know he was going to bring up the the hurricane thing. I think right now it's still over Florida. Has it touched down in Tallahassee yet, Stephanie? You said you had the news on.
Yeah, I think it is. I
It
think it's
did?
just
Okay.
hitting, and I don't have it on right now. I turned it off.
All right.
But yeah, it was hitting Tallahassee. But then later tonight, the winds are supposed to die down. So I think they're getting the worst of it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a category 4 or 5, the winds are going really fast. So this hurricane is definitely going to be going through pretty quickly. That's for sure. I don't think it's going
Yeah,
to stall. Huh.
I know. So,
Interesting. Interesting. Let's see. Hold
I'm
on.
surprised they don't get a tsunami.
Oh, like the surge? Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I don't know how the tsunamis usually work out, how all that works with the
I don't
tsunamis.
know. I don't know either.
I mean, the hurricane season has to be dying down over there in Florida. Like I'm not sure exactly what the hurricane season is, but I'm pretty sure it's you know, it's got to be. They shouldn't get too many more. I don't know how many hurricanes this year we've gotten so far. I haven't heard too much about hurricanes this year, which might be a good thing for uh, weather this year. Oh, did you hear about the asteroids that have been coming close to Earth? They're like the same proximity as like the moon.
No.
Yeah, there's an asteroid in Earth's orbit right now, and it is. I believe they said this one. I'm not sure if this one's the size of a school bus or that was the one that came in our orbit in 2020. But there's an asteroid in our orbit right now, but they don't expect it to be in our orbit for a long period of time. But yeah,
Oh,
it's like it's like the same distance as like the moon. But they also said that you can't see it with a regular telescope either. So for all of you people who are are interested in astronomy, astrology, you might be able to, if you have like a high tech telescope, you might be able to see the asteroid that's in the orbit right now, that's orbiting Earth. Yeah, they said that there was one in 2020 that we had in our orbit, and it lasted about 6 months in our orbit, and then it took off. And I think it went. Now it's around the sun. Yeah.
well, a lot of stuff is happening.
Yeah. Well, they said with the asteroid, like there's no need to. They said there's no need to worry about it, and that it's pretty far away and everything else. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. Like they said, there was one in 2020 that was in our orbit, and I think the last one before that that was in our orbit was in the 90s.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, what I thought about today was, you remember, I don't know if you've ever saw the movie Contagion.
Yeah.
I thought that was, they made that movie Contagion, and like I believe it was like 2011. They made that movie, and then like COVID happened, and it was almost like the same thing. When I was working at the grocery store during COVID, that I felt like I was in a movie. I literally felt like it was like one of those movies, because that's how people were going crazy when COVID first came out. And that movie Contagion was all about like this contagious viral disease from China, from a bat, and like came over here, and everyone was freaking out at the grocery store. That's what I felt like. I was like, am I in a movie or what? It was so, like, once people get fear, people go crazy. It just goes chaotic. And I mean, you know, we're over it now. It's not, but
Well, yeah, they made a lot of those virus. I mean, they made one in the 90s. Remember that one with Dustin Hoffman or was that the 80s? Uh, it was a virus movie like that. Uh,
I think I know which one you're talking about. I think I
yeah,
do. I don't
an old
remember.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact thing, but it was, yeah, it was crazy. And then to actually experience that, And like I always told my one boss that I had working there, and this was way before COVID. I said if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I'm like, we'll just shut the store down and live in the store and like live on the roof of the store. That's what our plans were because there's tons of food in there. Like, we'd be in the best place ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Once you get the fear in people, that's when all the chaos started, you know?
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, they made it that way though. Like they shut everything down. They told everybody to stay at home. Um, you know, they disrupted all of the distribution, you know, in and out, like all of our exports, import, you know, everything got like pushed back. And then when people couldn't get toilet paper, it was like people were freaking like
Oh,
fighting
that
in the
was ridiculous.
aisles over toilet paper. They need to figure out how to shoot the asteroids and bust them. Well, you would think since they made um the rocket ships and everything to get people into space. I mean, I'm hoping that NASA like has those things ready. I mean, we do have missile launchers and everything. I'm sure they could use one of those. I mean, we all have those for if we ever go to war with different countries. They can probably. Oh, Stephanie's. All right. Here you go, Stephanie.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but no, I don't want any people around me in a disaster because they just go crazy.
Yeah, they did, and I
You
really at first I was like, all right, you know, but it just got like it got to the point where I was like, I don't even feel safe working in a grocery store. Like I hit it, they're like, here, bring out some toilet paper. And I'm like, I don't want to. And I just like pushed the runner out there and literally, Stephanie, within like a minute or two, people were like tearing open the boxes like wild animals and just like fighting over the like the last of the toilet paper on the runner. I didn't even want to put it on the shelf because I was like, freaking, I might get knocked over or something. That's how crazy it was.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I will just, when they say stay in your house, I don't mind.
Stephanie's like, I'll stay in my house. That's awesome. I always wanted the excuse to stay home, and now they're telling us all to do it. Yeah, it was nuts there for a while at work.
Well, that's what'll happen if we get Democrats in the government again.
It's crazy. I never want to like experience that again, and hopefully humanity will never get that bad again because I guarantee you if I ask everybody on here, did anybody go hungry during the pandemic? I'm sure the answer is no. You know what I mean? I don't think
No,
anybody was going, you know, because they couldn't get anything at the grocery store. So for people to go in there panic driven and like literally like
I
pushing
know,
people out of
and
the way for
yeah,
things. Just
and if
crazy.
you run out of toilet paper, you use Kleenex or paper towels. I mean, come on.
Right. Like there's always something that you could I'm sure you'll get by until
Yeah, yeah.
but it was crazy when COVID first happened, you know, for the first year or so, it was like it was just nuts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think that there might be a possible like World War III? A lot of people are talking about World War III now, and then with Iran and everything, and
Of
what's going on.
course, of
Yeah.
course. Um, yeah, Biden just gave Ukraine another $8 billion to help with their war.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what did Russia say? Russia said they'll consider it that an act of war
Yeah.
if we send them long range missiles. Yeah. No. Yeah, something's going to happen. Iran is trying to execute Trump. They want Harris in there so they can control her. They can't control Trump.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, something will happen. I don't know if I'll live to see it, but
Hi,
yeah,
Salty Girl.
yeah,
Oh,
something
Salty
will
Girl's in
happen.
Florida. Wait a minute. Salty Girl's in Florida. Salty Girl, do you want to come up on the panel? How's everything going in Florida? We gotta get some Floridians up here. Everybody hunkering down. Do you have your candles?
Well, yeah, it's supposed to go up in Georgia. I hope it doesn't affect Tom. I don't
I'm
know how far he is into Georgia. I don't know how far he is, inland.
Well, I think it's according to the path. I think he's in the path of it. So I mean, he's
Uh,
definitely gonna get something from the storm. I know. I I'm sure. I mean, he'll probably film it. Knowing him, he'll probably have footage from it. I did want him to come on the panel tonight, but he's like off doing his own thing. So.
uh,
Oh, you're on the East Coast, Salty Girl, so you're just getting the wind, the rain, and the wind. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tom will do his thing as far as getting his own coverage and his own video of the hurricane and have the GoPros out and do that. Yep.
yeah.
We're just on here tonight talking about the hurricane and natural disasters and all of that fun stuff. And let's see. So what other topics? What's on your mind, Stephanie? What topics should we talk about tonight? I did look up the New York mayor that's in trouble for bribery and some other some other things that he was involved in, some other criminal activities, and it's a shame that a lot of those politicians, they get involved with some illegal things and it
Yeah,
has
I saw a clip of a speech that he was doing, and some black people were yelling at him that he screwed them over. So I don't know what he did to black people there.
in New York City.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the details on his charges.
Wow.
I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, politics are flying all around this year, especially since it's a presidential year too. So people are very passionate about it. They're starting to like fly their American flags like on their vehicles, and people are putting decals, Trump and Biden decals. I should get some pictures for you guys. One person's decal was on the back of their truck and it showed Joe Biden like duct tape and like his hands behind his back, like looking like he's lying in the back of the pickup truck.
Well, yeah, Harris is going to the border tomorrow. She hasn't been to the border in 4 years, and she's going tomorrow.
Going to the
3.5
border.
years. She hasn't been there, and she's going there tomorrow. So I can't wait to see that. That'll be funny as hell.
I mean, oh, the border where? In Texas?
Uh, I'm not quite sure. She's going to the border that where there's part of that wall that Trump built.
Oh, all right. I'm not sure
And
where he built that wall, to be honest with you.
Trump did a press conference from the Trump Towers today, and he was laughing about it, saying that she's probably going to take credit for that wall that he built. I was going, she probably will.
Oh, God. It's freaking. Yeah, because Donald Trump was building a wall for a while.
Right,
And I
right.
think people got upset over it because it was costing them a bunch of money. But it's funny because right now I'm driving in this neighborhood and people have like red and blue lights like all around their houses. People are going like crazy this time of year
Well,
around
you know,
here.
they think that Trump might win New York, and New York is a Democratic state, right? But they're thinking. I mean, he had 60,000 people at his rally in New York. So, I mean, if he can do that, man, he's got it made. So we'll see.
The thing is a lot of people like Donald Trump in New York, not so much for politics, not for political reasons, but because he put so much money into New York City that a lot of
Right.
people like him. For projects, having jobs there, that type of thing. But I'm not sure because like New York is usually always Democratic. It's never New York is not a swing state. Like your swing states are like Ohio, Pennsylvania, uh, a couple southern states. I'm gonna say, or Colorado. I think Georgia is a swing state. Yeah, there's
My
a few.
state's a Democratic state. My
Yeah,
state's a blue state. But a lot of Democrats are changing and they're going to vote Republican. So we'll see what happens.
yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens this election. I mean, most elections are pretty close. You know, uh, they usually don't win by like a lot. So we'll see what I mean in November. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I don't know. Stephanie, you should go and work the polls. You should do it. It's so easy. It's a long day, but like you're sitting down like the majority of the time. Like just it's like and they pay you for it too. So there's a little extra money for Christmas or whatever. Or if you want to go to like I don't know if you want to go somewhere with it, but like
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be good. It'd be too hard for me to keep my mouth shut.
you might find your Trump people. They'll be giving you a high five. Well, the thing is here what they do is uh you wear like a badge that tells you like what party you're there representing. And so people come up to you and they'll like already know and they might give you like a high five or something. But a lot you'd be surprised. And I don't know how it is in Seattle. I can't say. But here there's hardly any problems and they never give the people like helping them vote any problems. Like nobody actually says anything in the place about the political candidates. They really don't. They just kind of keep their mouth shut. They come in, they get their ballots, they do their voting and then they leave. But like no one ever really goes in there is like, I'm voting for this person or I'm voting for that person and this person sucks and that person's awesome. They're pretty well behaved for the most part. I mean, the one incident that happened, it wasn't so much over a president. It could have been because I didn't hear the whole thing, but it didn't get that out of hand. And that was just like one incident out of the whole day of all the people coming in to vote. But most people are pretty like decent. You know, they come in, they take their ballot, they go to the poll, you know, they do their thing, and they're pretty much like, you know, everyone just kind of keeps their mouth, you know,
Yeah.
shut.
Michelle, my sister's calling. I'll be back.
All right. Yeah, so the presidential elections, they're always interesting with that. That being said, um, let's see. I'm gonna take one more delivery tonight, you guys, and I'm gonna call it a night. I mean, it's 10:30 here. It's not really late. Let's see, so if Rita jumps on, okay, we'll let her know. Yeah, in Florida, it's gonna be crazy right now. If anyone's in Florida, I'm sure you guys can figure out like local shelters to go to if you need to. I mean, with 5 feet of rain in the Tampa area, they're probably going to be all going to the East Coast for some relief. A house, you know, if people's houses got really damaged with the flooding. Thursday night, you guys. All right, good. Okay, well, that's good. Well, I'm going to head off. I'm going to get going for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Everybody, you know, stay safe if you live in those areas. And I will be putting more updates on the hurricane as it comes in throughout the night and keep you guys updated. All right, you guys have a good night.